Alright, hello there. You are just right in time for the State of the Nation. This is the 29th day of April, the year 2025. My goodness, what a day. It's a day that the country continued to receive mixed reaction following the expose of Blood Parliament that was released by the BBC. And of course, just to bring us up to perspective of what is really forming the basis of this reaction, let me give you, or rather let me put you into context. Now, the road to justice for the victims of the Anti-Finance Bill of 2024 is a long one. Families are getting impatient and authorities relaxed. 10 months on, families of over 60 young men whose lives were cut short by the alleged police bullets are yet to find closure. The big question: who killed them, and for how long must they wait for the justice? Now, to answer these questions lies within the answer to the questions lies with the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, if you prefer the acronym IPOA. The body mandated to investigate, monitor, and make recommendations into police conduct and behavior that include cases touching on violation of human rights. IPOA says it has completed 22 cases so far, with 36 still under review and 2 cases in the court as we speak. So the question many of you are asking: why has it taken so long? In order to answer this question, we must look at the history of IPOA when it comes to handling such cases, and perhaps seek some answers from here. So, IPOA was established in the year 2011. Its main function include investigation and oversight. IPOA has received 30,499 complaints since its inception in 2011. Only 878 cases made it to the ODPP, that is the Director of, or rather the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution Office, with only 33 convictions made so far as of June 2024. So it is important to pay attention to that. So, does IPOA have the capacity to bring those police officers accused of killing innocent Kenyans, or rather innocent protesters, to book and give their families the closure they so much deserve? Well, I leave the answer to that question for you to decide. And of course, this will be forming the basis of our discussion tonight on the State of the Nation, where we'll be traversing across various activities that took place during the June 25th protest that saw the country really plunge into the dark days that so many people would love to put it behind them. That and many more in our subsequent bulletin tonight, as we take you through 360 that is clockwise news making headlines today.
This is KUTV Primetime News with Auma Evans.
Right, so remember, we are coming to you live on YouTube at KUTV News Live. You can tweet us on X at KUTV_Kenya, and of course remember to use the hashtag State of the Nation, and you can tag me along at Auma Evans. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Maggie Migwe. And now we begin our bulletin with the latest. The Independent Policing Oversight Authority, that is IPOA, has released status update on its investigation into police conduct during the 2024 Anti-Finance Bill demonstrations. The statement comes after BBC expose that singles out security officers believed to have instructed officers to kill, as well as those who pulled the trigger and killed the 3 young men. In light of the damning investigations released by BBC that showed how innocent protesters met their untimely end at the cruel hands of police officers during the June 2024 Finance Bill protest, the Independent Policing Oversight Authority (IPOA) has been compelled to release the status update on the same. In a statement released to the newsroom, IPOA noted that 60 deaths have been registered and have already completed investigation into 22, while actively pursuing 36, with 2 currently before the courts. According to IPOA, 8 of the completed investigations are under the final internal review, 4 are in the final stages of report writing before submission to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution for independent review. 2 were closed internally, 4 have been forwarded to the ODPP for review, and 3 were closed following ODPP's directives. The authority is also investigating 191 out of 233 cases of injuries alleged to have been caused by police officers during the anti-government protest. The statement comes after an expose that singles out security officers believed to have been instructed to kill, as well as those who pulled the trigger and killed 3 young men on the June 25, 2024 during Parliament invasion. For the families of David Chege, Francis Kipkoril Sawe, John Nyabuto and others shot and killed, it's 10 months and counting, and still no justice. The wait continues, but for how long? Auma Evans for KUTV, Nairobi. Alright, now let's stay on that story for a bit. Following the BBC documentary expose that revealed the faces of alleged killer cop during the deadly anti-finance bill of 2024 that claimed over 60 lives of the Gen Z protesters, a section of members of parliament have rubbished off the BBC documentary, describing it as insightful and capable of provoking unrest. Speaking in parliament on Tuesday, Dagoretti South lawmaker John Kiarie took issues with the documentary and wondered whether BBC purported to enforce the British agenda in Kenya.
The event that happened in June the 25th, a very sad day indeed. Tragic and shameful. Tragic in the sense that we lost lives of our fellow Kenyans. Shameful in the sense that democracy of the parliament was about to be infringed. And nevertheless, it has come at this time, a time that we have really moved on. We spoke about that issue in this house, discussed it, sympathized, mourned our fellow Kenyans who passed on during that day. However, it has come at this time again. As much as we agree that our fellow Kenyans lost their lives, unfortunately, but we also moved on to ensure that we reconcile the country as we move on. BBC World Service has attended to this matter in a way that also looked at the Kenyan society or African society as something that discriminatory, sort of, if I may say so.
Now let's switch gears to matters education. The Ministry of Education has emphasized that schools are ready for the second term despite school cash crunch crisis hitting hard learning institutions in the country. Our very own Edward Nyamu reports on a day all schools in the country reopened for second term calendar of the 2025 academic year.
Students, parents and teachers in Burangi region of Magarini, Kilifi County breathed a sign of relief when Burangi Primary School formally reopened its doors in a new and safer site. The school, which had been repeatedly damaged by the overflowing river Sabaki for years, has finally been successfully moved and rebuilt, making a watershed moment in the community's fight against the devastations caused by seasonal flooding.
Shule hii ilianza mwaka 1974, lakini inapatikana sehemu karibu na mto Sabaki, na baada ya miaka ikaonekana kwamba shule ile inaoshwa ama iko katika hatari ya kupitiwa ama kuchukuliwa na maji ya mto Galana. Kwa hivyo serikali wakaanzisha mpango maalum wa kuihamisha hadi mahali tulipo sasa hivi, na katika mpango huo tunataka kushukuru serikali kwamba sasa hivi madarasa yale 8 ambayo yamekusudiwa ama yalikusudiwa kujengwa sasa yamekamilika, na ni furaha yetu kama shule na kama jamii kwamba maono haya sasa yametimilika.
This has been made possible through the Ministry of Education, and the sign of relief comes at a time when the students are returning for the second term session. This has been evident in different towns and bus terminals, with students hurriedly on their way to school. To ensure that students are safe and secure, the Ministry of Education have issued guidelines to schools to ensure smooth reopening of schools. The second term is set to start from on April 28, 2025, and is scheduled to run for 14 weeks and will end on August 1st, 2025. There will be a half-term break from June 25 to 29, 2025, with the August holiday running from August 4th to August 22nd, 2025. Students are now expected to return to school as scheduled. Parents are now being urged to ensure they prepare their children well to ensure they are comfortable throughout the period they will be in school. Edwin Nyamo, KUTV.
Meanwhile, Nyanza Regional Commissioner Florence Muria has reaffirmed that the government is committed to curbing religious radicalization by targeting unregistered church entities. This follows an alarming discovery in Rongo, that is in Migori County, where a controversial church, Melkio St. Joseph's Mission of Messiah, was raided and subsequently shut down. Rael Makona reports.
The government is once again on the front line with the renowned focus on curbing religion radicalization and safeguarding society from the exploiting practice disguised as a worship. During a visit to the recent raid Meliko St. Joseph Mission of Messiah near Papo Rongo, Nyanza Regional Commissioner Florence Muria affirmed that the government will take firm action against unregistered church entities as a part of the effort to curb religion radicalization.
To do a serious crackdown on all unregistered churches, and maybe for the members of the public who will be able to watch this, I want this information to go out there. We are not going to tolerate radicalization in this society, and all people who are operating churches must make sure that they are registered. Consecutively, if you have any officers, government officers who are colluding with people who are breaking the law, then it's very unfortunate, because they are doing what they are not supposed to be doing, and we are.
The Meliko Church was closed after 57 worshippers who resented within the premises were rescued. Disturbingly, 2 bodies, including that of GSU officers, were found buried within the compound, further underscoring the urgency of addressing the regulated religion entities. The crackdown has not only targeted unregistered churches, but also warned the government officials who collide with these entities, emphasizing that such act will not be tolerated.
It's very important for all of us to take charge of these happenings which are happening in our society, because police stations, chiefs, and whoever, police officers cannot be in every place. So information that you've just shared is very crucial. Information that we'll be able to gather from the people of Opapo is also very important, and we are going to act on it.
Muria also urged the public to report suspicious activities and confirm ongoing investigation in the church operations. Community members in Rongo has been urged to cooperate with security agents as investigation in the activities of Meliko Church continue. The 57 fellows have been detained at 9 police stations in Migori County for 30 days, as directed by resident magistrate Susan Mutava, to allow the completion of investigation. Rael Makona, KUTV.
Thank you, Ryle Makona, for that. Now, Kenyatta University Department of Biochemistry, Microbiology and Biotechnology has joined hands with the Department of Sociology, Gender and Development Studies to address critical issues affecting Kenya farmers. And as KUTV's Anyango Silva reports, the initiative aims to equip farmers with knowledge and skills to embrace climate-smart agriculture while addressing domestic violence arising from unfair profit distribution from farm produce.
The changing and unpredictable weather patterns have compelled researchers to innovate crops that can withstand the challenges of climate change. Mary Mwangi, a Kenyatta University lecturer in plant biotechnology with over 20 years of experience in plant tissue culture, biosafety, and gene mapping, assures that adopting genetically modified GM crops is both safe and essential for food sustainability.
GMO technology should be integrated to conventional breeding. For example, these bananas we are talking about, they are produced not through genetic modification, but through conventional breeding. But once we have a variety that we have selected through this process, and we find maybe it's missing only one trait, maybe it is prone to a virus or prone to a bacteria, we can now undertake genetic modification to further improve it.
Farmers like John Moniki Gitau, a banana farmer, are beginning to see the benefits of these innovations as a means of ensuring food sustainability and relieving the country from overdependence on one type of crop.
Unajua ndizi ni kitu moja imeleta hiyo food security. Juu ndizi kuanzia January hadi December ndizi iko. Ndizi utapika ukule, ndizi utaivisha ukule ikiwa ripe, ndizi utasiaga unga. Wala watoto hawataki kukula ndizi ati iko na ile taste ile mbaya. Sasa ikikaushwa anakula kama peremende, kama biscuit.
While a discussion about gender-based violence is majorly focused on social norms about the proper roles and responsibilities of men and women, this project highlights gender-based violence challenges through training that emphasizes fair profit distribution and equitable roles in agricultural activities.
We have enough policies within the government, but unfortunately these policies are not specific on agriculture. If you look at the policies in agriculture, for instance, they are basically on production, marketing and all this, but they don't bring the gender integration in it. So the ministries, both of gender and also of agriculture, need to work together to come up with gender integrated policies in agricultural systems.
Wanaume, unajua katika area yetu ya Kikuyu tunasema wanaume ndio kichwa, tukaona sisi tumeanguka sana. Njoo wakati tulienda kwa ndizi tulikuwa tumeachilia kwa mama, lakini kumeingia pesa sasa. Sasa unaona ikija pesa, sasa lazima ingie mfuko wa mwanaume. Sio, unaona ni lazima. Lakini hao watu wa Kutv wakaanza kutufunza, pesa inawekelewa kwa meza, inaganywa, inajua hii itafanya hii, itaenda kwa shule, hii itafanya namna nyingine.
However, the team highlights financial challenges following the withdrawal of United Nations support, which has slowed down their efforts.
We get more funding so that we can be able to expand these projects.
The stakeholders meeting done in Kenyatta University brought together researchers, farmers and stakeholders from the central region, including Embu, Murang'a and Kirinyaga counties, with the aim of ensuring farmers embrace profitable banana farming. Anyango Silva, KUTV.
Now let me take you to Machakos County, where leaders from Machakos County, led by Senator Agnes Kavindu Mudhama, have called on the national government to compensate residents whose homes were demolished in East Africa Portland area. Speaking during the funeral of the father of the County Assembly Majority Leader Mark Mwendo, The leaders condemned the demolitions, terming it as brutal and unlawful. The county land executive Nathaniel Nganga stated that they have already submitted complaints and a list of affected individuals to the government. This remarks comes just days after Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen announced that further demolitions will take place in Mavoko to remove illegal occupants from the public land.
Inafaa kwamba kabla ubomozi ufanye, uchunguzi ufanye kwanza na tubainishe nani mwenye nyumba ya ukweli, na wale ambao ni victims ambao wamejenga kwa zile manyumba, kuwe na process ama program ya kuwakompensate na kuwahamisha mahali mpya.
Nataka kuuliza Mheshimiwa Rais, mimi kama senator wa Machakos nitaendelea kuongea kuhusu Mavoko, na ni lazima uheshimu wewe mwenyewe ndio na sisi tuendelee kukuheshimu. Kwa nini watu wanabomolewa, wengine wanalala nje na kuna mvua?
Right. That story from Mavoko now takes us to our first break here on the State of the Nation. When we come back, the discussion is all about the state of the nation. But this time round, we are taking a look, or rather we are paying a sharp focus on the latest unfolding following the expose revealed by the BBC about the bloody parliament. This is in light of what transpired on June 25th, 2024 during the anti-government protest that led to at least 60 lives of young, innocent Kenyans lost on that fateful day, a very dark day in the history of Kenya. And of course, it's a discussion that has really evoked a lot of reaction from political leaders and even Kenyans. Some condemn the BBC, others are accounting or rather demanding for justice. And of course, following now what many might say is delayed justice, which has really taken 10 months and counting. That is the discussion that we'll be having later on with my guest tonight, Professor Fred Ogola, just to bring you up to speed with what transpired during this particular week in the State of the Nation. See you in just a bit.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more, only on Law Matters.
Ni nguzo na uso wa jamii. Kupanda shuka, akawa tuzo. Ukakamavu wake, ukatii na kumfanya mwenye bidii. Kwa machozi na makeke, akabaini jinsi ya kuwini. Huyu ni mwanamke ngangari, kwa jinsi alivyo ng'ari-ng'ari. Mimi ni mwanamke mwake. Usikose kutazama kipindi cha mwanamke mwake, nami Caroline Kimweli.
Badala ya kutafuta kazi, tunaweza kuanzisha miradi yetu ambayo ingetusaidia kubadilisha maisha ya wazazi wetu.
Kwa vijana wenzangu, wengi hawana kazi, lakini ikiwa sisi wenyewe tutajiamini, tunaweza kujiajiri wenyewe.
Afrika kwa kweli tuna mahitaji ambayo ukiyasuluhisha unaweza kuathiri watu kwenye bara hili.
Bila woga, watu huwa na uzalishaji zaidi, wanajawa na ujasiri, wanakuwa wabunifu na wanakuwa wenye maarifa.
Niliamua kuacha kazi hata kama sitafanikiwa, nitakuwa nimejaribu, nitakuwa najua haiwezekani.
Hakuna kitu cha ajabu hapa. Kila anayepata ufanisi hufanya kazi usiku na mchana.
Kitu kitakusukuma na kuwezesha kupata maarifa ambayo hukuwa nayo.
Tunajaribu kutengeneza kitu kitakachopita mipaka ya nchi hii.
Ikiwa unataka kubadilisha ulimwengu, anza na nyumbani.
Ungana nami Malkia wa Taarab katika mitindo ya kipwani hapa KUTV. Yaani tunapozungumzia mitindo ya kipwani basi unaona napigwa na mawimbi makali sana ya baharini kutoka katika ufuo wa hoteli moja inayofahamika kama North Coast Beach Hotel, ambao ndio wadhamini wa kipindi hiki cha mitindo ya kipwani. Penzi mtazamaji, kwenye mitindo ya kipwani hutakosa kupata mapishi ya vyakula vya kipwani. Yaani hapa tunazungumzia vyakula vilivyokolezwa na kukorombezwa. Iliki, karafuu, abdalasini, samaki wa baharini, vyakula vilivyopikwa na kusukwa kwa kutumia nazi. Bila kusahau mazungumzo ya moja kwa moja, mazungumzo ya kusisimua na wataalam tofauti, waandishi wa vitabu waliobobea, watunzi wa kuhani mashairi. Bila kusahau mpenzi mtazamaji, taratibu zetu za taarab na chakacha. Yaani pale ni pale ambapo viuno vya wanawake vinazungushwa kisawasawa kama panga boy za trekta ndani ya KUTV mitindo ya kipwani. Ukiwa nami na hodha wako Waridi Tamu. Usiakose matamu jamani.
Hi, my name is Stella Tioi.
Jina langu naitwa Okemwa Mokwa James.
This is Mandela Gaya.
Ugonjwa ulipokuja ulichukua siku 3 ukaniweka in coma. 20 wamezikwa, 2 ndio wako hai.
I don't even know how it feels to see.
I feel like I cannot express myself well the way somebody who can walk can actually express themselves.
Ilichukua muda mwingi mrefu tena mpana ili kuikubali kwamba mimi siwezi tembea tena.
I've come to actually accept myself.
Ukijaribu kumsimamisha mtu umwambie tafadhali nionyeshe njia,
they find it quite strange talking to you.
You should just make schools integrated,
inclusive setups
by providing the right facilities.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Auma Evans.
Right, welcome back and thank you for keeping it State of the Nation. Remember, you can still talk to us on all of our social media platforms. We are coming to you live on YouTube at KUTV News Kenya. You can tweet us on X at KUTV_Kenya, at Auma Evans. The hashtag to use, State of the Nation. So let's just get right away to the State of the Nation. Remember, you are tracking the discussion. It's all about the latest expose by the BBC that revealed, or rather unmasked, the faces of the police officers who are alleged to have shot 3 young protesters during the June 25th anti-government protest outside the Parliament building. And of course, to help us bring, or rather shed some light into this discussion, let me usher in my guest tonight, Professor Fred Ogolla, political analyst, into this discussion. But Prof, asante sana for making time.
Thank you very much, my brother Evans.
All right. So before we embark on this discussion, let's just run you through a couple of clips that really transpired today, just to give this discussion some context and weight.
As much as we agree that our fellow Kenyans lost their lives, unfortunately, but we also moved on to ensure that we reconcile the country as we move on. BBC World Service has attended to this matter in a way that also looked at the Kenyan society or African society as something that discriminatory, sort of, if I may say so. Honorable Speaker, it looked like our media stations also picked it up without questioning how BBC World Service aired the story. It happens world over. People are killed, our people are killed, we sympathize, we moved on. Even world over. Remember, there was the same issue or similar in Capitol Hill. BBC World Service never took the opportunity to say something. It happened in London, they never said it.
All right, Prof, have we really moved on, or politicians are just trying to be politically right?
Yeah, first of all, let me take this chance to even remember and reminisce the people who lost their life in this June 25th. I was on the street myself. The gentleman who was shot in the street was just 3 meters away from me. And I could tell you the street was really a moment that you can't even describe. But unfortunately, our politicians have not even learned from that clip that was played from BBC. Some of them now are blaming British government, they are blaming BBC. Instead of if there was inaccuracy in the reporting of the BBC expose, then actually you can blame it. But the reporting is accurate. It is not BBC that killed Kenyans. BBC or government or UK did not send policemen to shoot or military to shoot. It is our own who shot our own. So therefore, there is nothing wrong with anybody pointing fingers. We should be remorseful. In fact, the parliament should even call for national mourning, we should call even for national confession and national prayer. We should call for how we can go back to God and ask ourselves, what happened that just because of a finance bill, something written on paper, made some people to live their life? Just an Excel sheet. Money to be collected to make politicians happy was to be collected, and politicians were so mad that some people had to die. Imagine that you want so much luxury for yourself that someone would rather die. So for me, I think that we haven't moved on. And then when Gen Z came to the streets, the main discussion was economic. It united all Kenyans around one big topic called economic. Our politicians, remember that time, they could not even know how to talk on TV. They never knew how to speak even in the media, in the public. They were completely even unable to tweet, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. So they were so much in confusion because they could not engage Kenyans in an economic discussion. So slowly by slowly, they started pushing us back to the political terrain because they are very good at it. They can discuss matters, the impeachment of so-and-so. They can discuss, I don't know, which tribe should come into government, which should not go, forming broad-based government versus what, do campaigns, go to rallies. That time, William Ruto did not even have oxygen. Even praying in churches was hard. He could go to a church, he could be chased away, he could leave running away from his own red carpet. So I think that politicians brought us back to the political arena where they are very good at, but they have not known that the Kenyan problem, Evans, is economic problem. It is not a political problem. And solving economic problem with a political solution is completely shameful, because Kenyans went because of cost of living, unemployment, corruption, service delivery, lack of accountability, insensitive leadership. Those ones are the issues. No one had an issue with another tribe. There was no problem between Luos and Kikuyus or Kambas. Those issues are not tribal issues. Those are national issues. And the health is a national interest. Security is a national interest. Economy is a national interest. Food security is a national interest. I didn't see anything that was political there. So they are taking us back to political arena, forming IBC and the rest. For me, I still believe we should still discuss about the economic problem in Kenya, because they are still doing another finance bill, they are still doing another budget, and those budgets and finance bill will still hurt. I do not know whether they have learned enough lessons that the finance bill coming this year will completely be cognizant of the fact that it needs full public participation to ensure that, again, we are not going to the city to reject a finance bill. Follow the process. Like now, you see, the budget policy statement that John Buddy wrote has not followed the budget, has not followed the constitutional requirements. Actually, I'm in court to challenge the budgeting making process, because budget policy statement must follow public participation. You must involve the office of the Auditor General. You must involve the office of Controller of Budget. You must involve the public in public participation to come with the budget policy statement, because it defines the budget. It also defines the finance bill. How have they not done that? So these people haven't learned anything, Evans. It's like we are speaking on deaf ears. Wanasema kwa Kiswahili, sikio la kufa halisikii dawa.
All right, and of course, no amount of justification can really undo what happened, the atrocities that young Kenyans were subjected to. I'm talking about 60 plus lives that were lost during this anti-finance bill of 2024 demonstrations. But what really worries me is the level of political backlash that we have witnessed from our leaders. Some who have really come out very strong and defend, the government position in regard to this, the expose that was released by the BBC. Well, this begs a very critical question. Why would politicians be so agitated with the expose at a time when Kenyans are still waiting for answers, and of course some are even waiting for closures from the authorities 10 months down the line?
Yeah, Evans, it is a very important question you ask. If you look, first of all, what is very unfortunate is that when the Gen Zs had entered parliament, the first statement from the president, he was speaking as head of state and head of government. He said that those people were infiltrated by criminals. And he called those who are killed, who are in the demonstration, criminals. Now, BBC expose used high level of camera intelligence, even AI, metadata, to prove clearly that those who are shot, like Wakena Eric, they were not criminals. Some of them were university students, software engineers. Some of them were just doing their normal businesses in town. None of them, you could even go to criminal investigation, the DCI headquarters, and check whether they had a criminal record. Zero. If a head of state can offer a statement and call his citizens criminals, and they are being killed, do we have a government? If the head of state has no empathy, has no feeling, he has no emotions, what is wrong with other politicians doing the same? Because they are singing the song to support the president, to support the government, so that their pockets can look good. MPs are bought here every day. Some of them even take as cheap as 10,000. Some of them even pick 50,000 to say things which are against their own wishes. So do we even have to even discuss about these people? According to me, we have a lost generation, and that's where the Gen Z. There's the baby boomers. There's a lost generation. We are talking about millennials. We are talking about Gen Xs. We are talking about Gen Zs. At least they have a feeling for their country. The other guys lost patriotism long time ago. They are turbocrats. What is important to them is their stomach. So according to me, it is very clear they are talking about who butters their bread, but they have forgotten the person who butters your bread are the citizens who pays taxes, are the ones who vote for you, who makes you a leader, and you should represent them. You cannot represent yourselves And I think that they have forgotten that the sovereign power belongs to the people. They need to read the Constitution and meditate like they're meditating upon the Bible so that they can understand what's happening. So these people need a serious civic education. Now the civic education I'm talking about is that in 2027, they need to go home so that they can reflect from home. That's the only civic education they can get.
All right, and Prof, this raises a very important aspect of this discussion. Now, the drawn-out nature of proceedings when it comes to investigating these cases of rogue police officers. Are you worried about the drawn-out nature of proceedings? Because we are having this conversation today because somewhere down the line, another family, another victim has not received the justice and the closure that they so much seek. Are you worried that as a nation we take too much time to investigate these cases and bring justice to the victims and of course the families who have been affected by these atrocities in the society perpetrated by alleged police brutality?
So Evans, we are not even talking about taking too much time. We are not doing anything at all. The Gen Z killings is not the first killings we have in this country. Some of us, Fred Ogola here talking to you, have been arrested 8 times by this government. Mm-hmm. They take you to Central Police, they put you there for 2 nights, and then they release you, you pay a cash bail, they don't refund that money. The evil is too much, Evans. I'm praying that the current government cannot be able to offer justice to these people. I'm praying to the families that are affected by who lost their relatives, Wakina Rek Masai, those who have been abducted, those who have been mistreated, that God may just give them peace in their hearts. Because even if this government, you take them to court, nothing will come by. If that policeman has been identified by BBC, even the name has been stated with the cameras shown, even the gun is shown, the kind of gun that shot, they should be arrested by now. If I was head of state, those people should be arrested by now. Mm-hmm. But they are now in the air. Now look at the point that some of the people who are talking on that TV, they are Kenyans, they are also working. How do they feel secure when they are speaking on TV, like the journalist Andala who was there? How does he feel safe when that policeman is also at large? We are playing with life. We are playing with fire. We are not living according to our constitution. The constitution has defined how everything should be dealt with. In fact, the constitution is a manual. I usually tell people that the founding fathers of this country did not allow a country to be run by guesswork. They came out with the governance manual, and there are 3 of them. One is the Constitution of Kenya 2010. The 2 are laws of Kenya made in Parliament, and the 3 are policies made by ministries. Why are they not being followed? IPOA is there chewing Kenyans' money in terms of budget and doing nothing. There's nothing IPOA has made to lower police brutality. Why are they there if they were formed to produce police brutality? We have come with so many institutions, so many commissions, so many committees that only suck money from Kenyans and deliver nothing. Like EACC. EACC is there to investigate corruption. What is corruption? Corruption is theft. Anybody who has stolen money, whether it's 10 billion or a chicken or an egg, is a thief. They should not be taken to EACC. They should be taken to jail. They should be taken to a cell. They should be arrested, taken to a cell, investigated by the police. Not being taken to EACC where they are sitting on a sofa, while they are taking tea and mandazi, with a fan next to them, sitting in a good couch, when they are being asked silly questions which are adding to nothing. Then after they win, they walk on the street of the Nairobi, they being celebrated. No, we cannot run such a society. According to me, these people, only God will help them for now. And the Bible is clear that the only Prince of Justice and Peace can give you peace. And that Prince of Peace and Justice will come one day when we'll have the right person in the State House. The day we shall have the right person in the State House is when Kenyans will have their right. For now, there is no right you have, my brother. I have gone through it at all. Someone can come to your house, take your phone and go with them, and there's nothing you can do. Someone stop you in the road, arrest you, destroy your car, and there's nothing you can do. So someone can put a bullet on your head, shoot you, you die, you are buried, and you can go. Remember Michuki said, the government can come and remove your teeth, and there's nothing you can do. That's where we still are until now. Nothing has changed.
All right. And talking about IPOA, the body mandated with the responsibility of investigating police conduct, including violation of human rights, and of course make some recommendations in regard after the... Well, when you look at the IPOA that was formed in the year 2011, and of course up to the 2024, 93 complaints since its inception, only 873 cases have made it to the office of the ODPP with only 33 convictions. Does it speak volume of IPOA's inability to actually investigate and make sure that perpetrators are brought to justice as it deserves? Because the number of complaints versus the conviction cases, really it shows some sort of a disparity between what many might thought that the level at which one might seek justice, or rather pledge their hope at getting justice from IPOA, is quite big when you compare the disparity between the cases that have been filed and of course the successful convictions. Prof.
Evans, if you're the President of the Republic of Kenya and you appoint all the commission at IPOA, you appoint all the commissioners, the council, everything else, how can they investigate you if you're the killer? That's why the President takes oath of office, oath of allegiance to the Constitution of Kenya, and oath of allegiance to the people of Kenya. Then they also take an oath or due execution of office, and it's very clear they must protect the Constitution. So if you have a head of state like one we have now, who has violated all the 18 chapters of the Constitution of Kenya, what can IPOA do? If you go IPOA, he appoints them. You go to DCI, he appoints them. ODPP, he appoints them. Even the judges, he's the one who appoints. Even the IBC, he's the one who appoints. How can someone appoint everybody and then those people can put him to book? It's impossible. Kenya needs an overhaul, my brother. We cannot continue doing the same thing. I don't even care whether you mention. Look at Kware. Bodies were retrieved in Kware, cut like chicken in a restaurant. Human body. So if human body can be cut like chicken, and IPOA is here earning salary in offices with sofa sets, government logos with the press conference, going to workshops in Mombasa, in Kilifi, everywhere, being given money to do strategic plans, being given money, I don't know for what, allowances, per diems. We cannot. I want to tell Kenyans, the only thing that can save Kenya, let's go to what my brother, Tony Blair, called modernizing government. Kenya needs to be modernized. Modernizing government means that it's not just William Ruto. Don't point finger at only the president. Some of the people in government enjoy the government the way they are, and they don't want to change. Because change cannot take place when the agents who are enjoying change, because they are beneficiaries and their benefits. So the beneficiaries are those in government. The benefits is what they are getting from it. If you don't change the benefits, nor you change beneficiary, nothing can change. And in Kenya, I also want to tell Kenyans, and some of us are still celebrating some of those people. Don't celebrate them, because only person who wants change in this world is a baby in wet diapers. Is Kenyans' diapers wet enough to have this change we are talking about? Before we are tired and say enough is enough, we're still being scammed. Someone come here and say, now we are in government, we have given you 2 people to enter IPOA, 4 people are in DCI, and those are people killing people. I don't know, bragging how people have been given jobs in the military. Those are the people shooting people. Policemen, I don't know what. And the president, by the fact that he's not following the law, he has compromised any other institution. He has compromised opposition. He has compromised parliament. He has compromised the judiciary system. He has compromised the electoral system. He has compromised the investigating system. He has compromised even the military. You saw a military person, the BBC is showing that this dressing is only from the military that shot somebody. What was a military person doing in a police, among the policemen shooting civilians? So if the president cannot uphold the law, who will uphold the law?
All right. And Prof, talking about upholding the law and of course having a complete overhaul. Well, if you were to flip the table and have this what you call completely overhaul, what would a successful IPOA looks like to you?
We don't need IPOA. We don't need those institutions you are getting. They've been put there to make you feel something is happening. Do we have IPOA in UK? Do you have IPOA in the US? Some of these institutions you are talking about, they have been created to you so that, in fact, if you look at IMF, World Bank is saying we need to restructure and reduce the size of government. We have too many authorities. We have too many commissions. We have too many committees doing nothing. There's even a commission called a Commission of Unemployment of Kenya. And there is no employment. And you see, the budget policy statement says that they have frozen employment in Kenya, and we have a commission in charge of unemployment in Kenya. The office is in Kasarani. If you go to Kasarani, they have an office in Kasarani. So I'm asking myself, how can a CS Treasury like your President Jura Ndungu last budget read and said, out of a budget of 3.9 trillion, there is no employment for the youth. Yet they have Employment Authority of Kenya. Unemployment Authority of Kenya exists. So you don't need these things, my brother. These are just massage. These are just Panadols. They're just painkillers. Policemen should abide by the law. The police can have their own disciplinary measurement committees on how they need to do these things. If you want to have IPOA for the police, what will you do for the military? Do you need to have another one for the military? Then you want to have another one for teachers. You have another one for journalists. You'll have another IPOA for citizens. You have another one for drivers. You have another one for makangas. How many will you have? If you cannot obey the law, you can't obey the law. No matter how many commissions or institutions you set, the fish rots from the head. The president should lead Kenyans, and then the government leads Kenyans. When a president who says, I will keep the law, I will not steal Kenyan money, I don't need money, I have enough money to live with my family. That is the day corruption will end. You can have anti-corruption forever. But if the head of state does not want anti-corruption to work, it won't work. It has never worked. These are scams. They are making you feel things are working, but they're not working. We don't want painkillers. We just want the root cause of the problem. If the government is corrupt, there is no need for EACC.
Okay. So, Prof, even as we wind up on this discussion because we are running out of time, will the victims of the anti-government protests of 2024 really get justice, given the fact that 10 years down the line, only 2 cases that are now in court? We have IPOA has completed 22, 36 still under review. Do you think the victims will get the justice and closure?
Yes, not under this government. On 25th of April 2024, at Ufungamano Hall, we had a meeting of all new generation aspirants who wants to form the government from MCA to State House. If we win the election and take over government, we shall give justice to those families. We will ensure that justice is done and fails to be done. We will open serious investigation, collaborate with the BBC instead of shunning them. We will bring all those BBC experts, the intelligent cameras they used, and we shall just say, in God we trust, the rest bring evidence. And even if evidence is Fred Ogola who shot, let him go to jail. I'm sure justice cannot be done by the person who presided over that killing. They cannot be done. Justice cannot be done, because if justice is done, the whole government needs to retire. Who gave the order shoot to kill? You saw the policemen here, you saw the police inspector general being asked to go to court. They don't want to go to court. They cannot even obey court orders. So if they can't obey the court orders, how can the president obey court orders? So the new generation aspirants will take over government, and we shall have alternative leadership. Serikali badala na Wakenya watapata haki yao. Lakini chini ya hii serikali ambayo iko hapa hii, hakuna kitu utafanya. Hii serikali gushi, hakuna haki inaweza patikana.
Asante sana Professor Fred Ogola for your insight and shedding light in this very important discussion about the state of the nation, where we talk everything in between, matters, politics, business, and of course whatever affects the common wananchi. At this particular point, sadly, this is where we have to leave it. Prof, asante sana once again for making time.
Bye-bye.
All right. Okay, so that is the state of the nation, and of course just some intrigues and insight in regard to this very important discussion about the expose by the BBC in regard to what happened during the June 25th during the anti-government protest. Quite a heavy topic, if you ask me, one that we can debate it all over and over. We can even take the entire day just debating this particular incident, and of course never at any point get some answers that we so much seek. So in that, we switch gears to Matter Sports up next. Right, now it's time for the latest in the world of sports. Now, Mikel Arteta's side Arsenal will welcome Paris Saint-Germain at Emirates Stadium in the first leg encounter of UEFA Champions League semi-final set for tonight. The Gunners will be hoping to keep up the same momentum after edging out reigning champions Real Madrid 5-1 on aggregate in the quarter-finals. Both teams will be keen to book a slot in the finals as they seek to lift Europe's topmost club elite competition for the first time in their history. Alright, so two clubs are seeking at least to lift the UEFA Champions League trophy for the first time in the club's history. Well, that is quite important to see how the event will unpan there at the Emirates Stadium, the first leg of the UEFA Champions League semi-finals between the Gunners, that is Arsenal, and Paris Saint-Germain, for those who prefer the acronym PSG. And of course, we wish all the team all the best, but there is still a mountain to climb. Remember, tomorrow Barcelona will be taking on Inter Milan, two of the most successful teams in the history of UEFA Champions League. They have won, and then there is the other side, Arsenal, PSG, who have never won it. They'll be seeking to lift the trophy for the first time ever. So you can see, compare and trust, and see who actually can lift this the 2024-2025 UEFA Champions League. Who do you fancy? Well, evidence iko kwa kalatas. For now, it's a good night, and do have a lovely night. Many thanks for the men and women behind the scene, and for all those who made this production a success. Not forgetting you, our esteemed viewers, for always keeping us a company in the last 58 minutes or so. My good name is Auma. Evans Magi Migwe has been our sign language interpreter tonight. Goodbye.